Hello and welcome back to Dear Dr. Charryse, a mental health podcast where we discuss all things life through the lens of neuroscience, integrative health, and mindset so you can learn, grow, and honor the space you were designed to occupy. As you can see, I'm back in the home office and I'm just going to tell you right now, for some reason, me and the focus of today, I am really just pumped and passionate about it. If you know me, if you've been around the show for a while, you know I'm a neuroscience nerd. There's just something so fascinating to me about how we're wired and how our brain can either be for us or against us, but it's a little bit more complicated than that. There's so many factors and influences to where we are. But what I want to focus on today is, are you accepting crumbs in your life? Have you ever had a moment where you feel like, I don't know if I'm actually being treated or being loved the way that I desire? And sometimes if we come to that thought, we need to look at the whole 360 and also then pay attention to, well, where is our part for allowing low effort to remain in our lives? So let's get into it. You are a phenomenal person. I want you to stop and I want you to think about how you love, how you give love, how you show up in the lives of the people that you care about. None of us are perfect. Nobody's saying that. But I would love for you to honestly just kind of jot down, this is something that you know that you do that is unique and special, and here are the ways that you try to show up, and here's how you give. And then I want you to think about, where in your life do you find that's not being reciprocated? Do you notice that you consistently get into situations where you feel like you are giving more than you're getting back? Now, don't take it to a place it doesn't need to go. I'm not saying that every relationship that you are in is all about, it needs to be tit for tat, right? There's no such thing as it always being 50-50, but there is something extremely important about you at least feeling that there's a level of reciprocation and that you're not running into the same patterns over and over. And those patterns end with you being depleted, you not getting enough, or you overcompensating in order for that relationship to maintain. If you're in a relationship and you can say to yourself, you don't have to tell me, but tell yourself, if I'm honest with myself, this is only working because I am giving more and more and more and accepting their capacity where it is. Is that what you want? Is that healthy for you? How is it changing you? What are you noticing about yourself as you navigate and you manage that dynamic? Here's what can happen. It can take you to a place of low mood, to anxiety, to sadness, of feeling checked out, of feeling disconnected, of feeling numb. And that will show up in other areas of your life. Specifically, it'll even show up in how you treat yourself. So we have to pay attention to the health of the relationships that are in our lives, and we have to be honest about where we accepting crumbs. Now, let's talk about how the brain can get involved in this in two different ways. One, if you grew up or historically have been in situations where there's been a level of emotional neglect, then you can very easily find yourself in situations where that perpetuates. And that's not as easy to identify as you think. For example, I want to give you 5 signs that emotional neglect may have been present in your family. Number 1, family conversations were on surface topics, or the home was filled with anger. So extremes, surface topics, we only talked about things as long as they were good, or your home was constantly angry. So you just kind of learned to do whatever was necessary in order to manage it and navigate it and to be the peacekeeper. 2, difficult interpersonal family problems were ignored versus addressed. You didn't learn within your family, whether that was your family of origin or the family that you're in now. There was no sitting down and actually talking through an issue. That is a level of neglect, because what happens is when we're in unhealthy relationships where things aren't discussed and people just get quiet and then come back together when they think everything is fine, that is not resolved. That is neglect. And over time, it builds a really toxic pattern of emotional avoidance, which then means we can then connect and be in relationships with other people who don't know how to communicate, and we don't expect them to, because our comfort is found in ignoring everything. 5 signs that emotional neglect may have been present in your family. Affection was expressed through action, but rarely through emotional expression. So maybe the way that things were smoothed over was somebody brought something home to you, or they did something that you liked, but never actually looked you in the face and said, I am sorry. Please forgive me. I appreciate you. I'm so grateful for your love. I'm so grateful for your forgiveness. I'm so grateful for your patience. Emotional expression is not just felt. It must be verbalized repeatedly and frequently, both ways. 4, may have been told you were loved, but not shown. You know I love you, but you don't feel it. You don't hear it. You don't feel seen. You don't feel heard. You don't feel accepted. And you decide, did you see that as a pattern in your family of origin? Do you see that as a pattern in the family that you're in right now? And if you do, it's not designed to make you feel bad, but it is designed to open your eyes and really ask yourself, is this it? Is this healthy? Is this living up to the love that you desire and deserve? And if not, what are you willing to do? And 5 signs that emotional neglect may have been present in your family. Any love that you received came through achievement or meeting someone else's needs. Boom. That's the big one. If you know in your heart that you primarily only feel loved when you achieve something or you do something to meet the needs of someone else, that situation is unhealthy. It neglects your fundamental right to be loved for who you are and not what you do. And if any of those are still present in your relationship, your partnership, your work relationship, you are accepting crumbs. The other element of neuroscience that I want us to get into for a moment is how the brain is wired for survival. It is wired for comfort. It is wired to resist change. So this amazing and incredible brain that we have, if we're not aware of how it works, if we're not doing our healing work to uproot, to remove, to resolve, and to move through differently, this brain of ours will actually convince us to stay comfortable in mess. It will make you think, well, maybe it's not that bad. I mean, sometimes it's good. There's been great moments. It will have you negotiating your worth, your value, your needs, and your expectations if we aren't careful. So if any of this has struck a nerve with you, here's what I want you to do. I want you to sit down now, right after this is done, on the replay, whenever it's comfortable for you. And I want you to take time to ask yourself, how do I want to be loved? And be as specific as possible. Second question, especially if you're in a relationship with someone that you hope and think and believes loves you, Am I receiving the kind of love that is nourishing me? Identify how you want to be loved, because you know. Are you receiving the love that you need, desire, and deserve? Or part 3, why am I accepting crumbs? I know these are tough questions, but we repeat what we don't repair, and we cannot repair what we refuse to see. So in order for you to kind of move back the mask and open your eyes and really step into a new sense of self and honor the space that you are designed to occupy by being loved the way that you deserve and you desire, and in proportion to how you give, you have to be honest with what's true. And then once you do, if you're comfortable, let me know how your reflection process was. Look below in the show notes. You know where to find me. I'm available on Instagram through my IG, which is the same as Instagram, Charryse, get it together. Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, comments. You can comment on the podcast anonymously, all the things. But let me know how this hit you and what came to light in your reflection, or just that, wow, I went through those 3 elements of reflection and what I thought came to pass, or I was shocked by what came to the surface. Here's the bottom line. You deserve more than crumbs. You deserve to be seen, to be heard, to be appreciated, and to have relationships that bring you peace of mind. And if any of that is missing for your life, that is not for you. You deserve better. So you and that person or that individual, I hope, will do whatever it takes to make that happen, or do the hard things. Open yourself up to realizing and recognizing that it may be time for a change. I wish you well. Remember that knowledge is not power without application. Take one thing that you heard today and put it in practice in your life, and watch what happens.